everyone, I'm Sara and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet a spring flower doily. These are super fun to make and they have lots of fun uses. Of course they're perfect for a doily to put maybe a basket of bread or a candy dish, maybe a nice spring candle in the center, but they're also a great size to use for your garden parties or summer parties as placemats. They measure about 12 by 12 inches, so they're a really nice size for your entertaining needs. Now you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make one of these doilies, you're going to need about 1.5 ounces of any acrylic yarn. This one is made with I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby in the lemon yellow. The pink one is made with Red Heart Super Saver. And today's demo, I'm going to use this blue color, and it's Vanna's choice. And so you can use any acrylic or even cotton or any blend that you want to, as long as it's a medium weight number 4 yarn. You can even use stripes or variegateds. Just get in your yarn stash and see what bright spring colors you can come up with. We're going to be stitching today with our eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle just to weave in your ends, and of course a pair of scissors. To begin, we're going to start with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5 chains. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. So we'll take the tail of yarn and put it over our hook and pull it through that loop, and then we'll just snug that down. Now if you prefer to use the magic circle here, you certainly can. Alright, we're going to put our hook through, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. And now we're going to stitch 11 double crochets in this chain 5 loop. I'm also going to stitch over this tail of yarn. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. So I have a chain 3 and 1 double crochet, so I need to stitch 10 more, so I'll have a total of 12 double crochets. That tail of yarn wants to get away from me. Alright, let's see how many I have stitched. Here's my chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And then before I do row 2, I'm going to turn this over and gently pull on that string. That's going to close up that hole. And then I can go ahead and take my needle and weave that in. Now, if you don't want to do this right now, you don't have to. You can always weave this in and close up that hole when you're all finished. I just like to go ahead and get it done. All right, go ahead and clip that. And so for row or round 1, I have 12 double crochets joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. For row 2, we're going to be placing 2 double crochets in each of our 12 double crochets around. Our chain 3 counts as 1, so I'm going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as my chain 3. Now I'm going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets all the way around. We have 12 double crochets on round 1, and so since I'm stitching 2 double crochets in each of those 12, row 2 or round 2 will have 24 double crochets. All right, so we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I've stitched 2 double crochets in each of my double crochets around. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now for row 3, we're going to begin forming the petals of our flower on our doily. And what we're going to do is stitch 2 more double crochets in the same stitch as our chain 3. Our chain 3 counts as 1, and we're going to stitch 2 more. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, finish our double crochet, and repeat. And we'll have 3 double crochets in that same stitch because our chain 3 counted as 1 and we did 2 more. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 2 double crochets and stitch 3 double crochets in the next. And this is our repeat around. Chain 2, skip 2, and 3 double crochets in the next double crochet. And repeat. Chain 2, skip 2, and 3 double crochets in the next. And we'll repeat this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I've completed this row, and you're going to have 8 sets of 3 double crochets, chain 2, then we'll join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now for row 4, our chain 3 again counts as 1 double crochet, and we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next double crochet. Then in the last double crochet of those 3, we'll stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we'll chain 2. And what we've done is we've increased at the beginning and the end of this group, and so we made 3 double crochets into 5. Chain 2, and now we'll go to our next group of 3 double crochets. We'll stitch 2 double crochets in the first one, 1 and 2. We'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next one, and 2 double crochets in the third one. And chain 2. And that's our repeat for row 4. 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in that third double crochet of that group, and chain 2. And we'll repeat this on these next groups and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 4. I have 8 sets of 5 double crochets with chain 2s in between. I joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. And what we're going to do for row 5 is we're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then in the last double crochet of that group, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then chain 2. So now we've gone from 3 to 5 to 7 double crochets in our groups, and this is starting to form our flower petals. All right, so let's go to our next group of 5 double crochets. We'll stitch 2 double crochets in the first one, 1 double crochet in the next 3, and 2 double crochets in that last double crochet of this group or set, and chain 2. And we'll repeat that on our next group. 2 double crochets in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 double crochets in our last double crochet of that group, and chain 2. And you can see the petals forming as we widen or increase each of our sets. And we'll repeat this, 7 double crochets, chain 2, all the way around and join back to our chain 3. So you have 8 groups of 7 double crochet, chain 2. I joined to my chain 3, but I only chained 1, not 3. So after row 5, we join and chain 1. And that's because we're going to do a decrease stitch at the beginning and end of our groups. And this is going to cause our petal to begin to come in. So what we're going to do is yarn over. We're going to go in that first stitch, which is at chain 3, and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go in the next double crochet and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the second 2. And what we've done is we've taken 2 double crochets and decreased them down to 1. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And now what we're going to do with these last 2 double crochets is stitch another double crochet decrease. Yarn over, go in that next stitch and pull up a loop. Go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. You'll have those 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the last 2. And so what we've done is we've decreased at the beginning and end of this group. So now we're going to chain 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we'll come to this next group of our 7 stitches. Yarn over, go in the first double crochet and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go in the next double crochet and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the last 2. Then we'll double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll stitch another double crochet decrease. It's also called stitching 2 double crochets together. Yarn over, go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. Then we'll go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the last 2. So again, we've decreased from 7 to 5 double crochets and chain 6. All right, let's do one more together. We've decreased at the beginning and end of our 7 double crochets in each group, and there's 3 double crochets in the center and chain 6 in between. All right, so chain 6, stitch the first 2 double crochets together, 3 double crochets, stitch the last 2 double crochets together, and again those are double crochet decreases, chain 6, and repeat around. I have completed row 6. We did a decrease at the beginning and end of each of our groups, also called stitching 2 double crochets together, and then chain 6 in between. So basically we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, chain 6 in between. Here's my last chain 6. I'm going to join to that first stitch with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now we're going to do decrease stitches again at the beginning and end of each of our groups. So I'll go in my first stitch, pull up a loop, then I'll go in my next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through the 3, yarn over, and go through the last 2. All right, now I'm going to stitch 1 double crochet in that next stitch. And then I'm going to stitch the last 2 together. So we've made 5 stitches into 3. Now I'm going to chain 4, and around this chain 6 we're going to stitch a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And then we're going to chain 4 again. So we have 3 double crochets, chain 4, V-stitch, and chain 4. Now we'll go to our next group. We'll stitch the first 2 together in a decrease stitch. One double crochet in the next stitch. We'll stitch the last 2 together in a decrease stitch. Chain 4, V-stitch around this chain 6, which again is a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, and then chain 4. And this is our repeat for row 7. Double crochet decrease with the first 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in the center stitch, 2 double crochets stitched together in a decrease stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, V-stitch around that chain 6, which again is a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, and then chain 4. And so that's our repeat. Decrease or stitch 2 together, double crochet, decrease, chain 4, V-stitch, chain 4, and repeat that all the way back around where we started. I completed row 7, stitching decrease or 2 together, 1 double crochet, decrease, chain 4, V-stitch around that chain 6, and chain 4. All the way around. And now I'm going to join to that first stitch of this next group with a slip stitch. We're going to slip stitch in that second double crochet and chain 1. And this just gets us to the center of that petal. Now we're going to single crochet in that same double crochet and chain 6. Now we're going to move to our V-stitch, and in the V-stitch we're going to stitch 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Then we're going to chain 6. This brings us to our next group of 3 double crochets where we did a decrease on each side, and in that center double crochet we're going to stitch a single crochet. And this is our repeat for row 8. Chain 6, 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space of our V-stitch, 1, 2, chain 6, and single crochet in that center double crochet of those 3. And chain 6. And we'll work this all the way around our doily. Now, don't worry if it feels like it's curling up on you a little bit around the edges. The last row will help it lay nice and flat. There we go. And again, we're just going to repeat this. Single crochet in the center double crochet, chain 6, 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch, chain 6, and repeat all the way around. I have completed row 8, stitching single crochet, chain 6, 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch, chain 6, and repeat around. And again, I just want to reiterate that if you feel like it's curling up a little, don't panic. This last row that we're going to stitch on our doily will help it lay nice and flat. So here's my last chain 6. I'm going to join to that single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. All right, so I'm going to single crochet in that single crochet. Now I'm going to stitch 6 single crochets around this chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this brings us to those 2 single crochets in the V-stitch. We're going to single crochet in the first single crochet. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to join to the top of that single crochet. That's called a picot stitch. All right, we join to the top of that single crochet with a slip stitch. Now we're going to single crochet in that second single crochet. And it forms a nice little bump there. All right, that brings us to our next chain 6, and we're going to stitch 6 single crochets around that chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. and then single crochet in the single crochet. Now I'm going to bring my camera up just a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing on this row. We stitched our single crochet in the single crochet. Now we're going to stitch 6 single crochets around this chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This brings us to the 2 single crochets in the V-stitch. We're going to single crochet in that first one. We're going to chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet we just stitched, and then single crochet in the second single crochet. And what we stitched here was a single crochet, picot, and single crochet. Now we'll go to that chain 6 and stitch 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Single crochet in the single crochet, and then 6 single crochets around the chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I want to show you this single crochet, picot, single crochet one more time. All right, so I'm going to single crochet in the first single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet that we just stitched, and then single crochet in the next single crochet, and then 6 single crochets around that chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then single crochet in that single crochet. All right, and you'll also notice that as you stitch this row, your doily starts to lay out nice and flat. All right, and so we're going to continue this around. 6 single crochets around the chain 6, single crochet, 6 single crochets around the chain 6, and then single crochet, picot, single crochet. And we'll repeat this again all the way around our doily, and this is our last row. So I have completed this last row, and you can see that my doily is laying nice and flat. And the way we stitch that last row, it just helps it lay nice and flat. All right, so here's where I did my last single crochet, picot, single crochet, and my 6 single crochets around my chain 6. And so I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. I've got a string, there we go. And we'll go ahead and cut that. And we want to tie that off to the back, so I'm going to go in the next stitch, pull that loop in, and tie off to the back. And then I can weave that in to the back, which is really quite easy. You just take your needle and thread that on and weave it in. So here are 3 different colors of my spring flower doily. Now, like I said, you can also use these for placemats because they're a 12 by 12 inch doily. And you don't have to make them in pastels or spring colors. This would be beautiful in bright daisy colors. Maybe make the center brown with white petals, or make it look like a sunflower. You use your imagination. Use whatever colors that you want to make them in. Just make some because they're super easy and super fun.